On average, give or take, Qantas offers about 27 to 30 flights a week from major Australian hubs to the Los Angeles area, with an approximate flight time of about 14 hours, give or take. So then why in the world would it take one flight, 34 days, 16 flights flying over 13 countries to do what is done daily in under 14 hours? Yeah, I know most of you already know the answer. Of course, the pilot was drunk. Wait, what? No, the pilots were fine. They were all competent and sober. The actual answer is, of course, this was a special flight in which Qantas was ferrying a plane to the Victorville, California desert Boneyard, where Qantas keeps all of their retired out-of-service fleet to be placed in storage or sadly destroyed. But hey, wait a minute there, Maximus. Just because the plane is being retired, it still shouldn't take any longer to fly there than a normal flight. And you would be quite correct if it were a wide-body long-range jet, such as a Boeing 747, 767, or maybe an A380. However, when it's just a little old puddle jumper like the Boeing 717, with a maximum range of at the most just over 2,000 nautical miles, even loaded with extra fuel tanks, that's still a bridge too far. Even if, for example, you did what Hawaiian Airlines did to get their 717s from San Francisco to Hawaii at a distance of about 2,500 nautical miles and loaded the plane with tons of extra fuel. That's still about a third of the distance from Australia to California, so that wouldn't work in this case. Okay, so before I show you the amazingly crazy route Qantas recently undertook to circumnavigate the globe to take this cute little plane to its final destination, first a little background, then we'll look at the wild journey of the Qantas Boeing 717. Well, this year Qantas Airways started bidding farewell to one of its iconic aircraft, the Boeing 717, marking an end of an era in Australian aviation. In June of this year, Qantas began making the long, arduous ferry flights to the California desert as they embarked on the process of retiring their 717s one by one. The retirement of the baby Boeing is part of Qantas Link's fleet renewal program named Project Winton Domestic Fleet Modernization Program. I have no idea why they named it Winton, so if you know, let me know in the comment section. But as the airline bids farewell to its 717s, it welcomes the introduction of 29 fuel-efficient Airbus A220 aircraft. The A220 set to arrive later this year will gradually replace all 20 of Qantas Link's Boeing 717s. According to Qantas, the new fleet will offer numerous advantages, including a 25% increase in seating capacity, with 137 seats compared to the 110 on the Boeing 717. Moreover, the A220 boasts double the range of the 717 and significantly reduces fuel burn with a 28% improvement per seat. The retirement of the Boeing 717 and the introduction of the Airbus A220 mark a significant shift in Qantas's regional and domestic operations. This fleet renewal program is part of the airline's broader strategy to enhance efficiency, lower emissions, and expand its network. Alongside the A220, Qantas is also expecting the arrival of Airbus's A321XLRs in late 2024, further bolstering its fleet. At the time the program was launched, former Qantas CEO Alan Joyce expressed his gratitude for the contributions of the Boeing 717s and the excitement surrounding the fleet renewal program. He acknowledged the role played by the 717s in connecting Australia across domestic and regional routes for over 2 decades. For those unfamiliar with this cute little flyer, the Boeing 717 is a 5-abreast narrow-body airliner produced by Boeing. The twin-engine airliner was developed for the 100-seat market and originally marketed by McDonnell Douglas in the early 1990s as the MD-95, until the company merged with Boeing in August of 1997 when it was rebranded the Boeing 717. It was a shortened derivative of McDonnell Douglas's successful MD-80 and part of the company's broader DC-9 family. Okay, now for those of you who haven't skipped ahead, and you know who you are. The first 717 Qantas retired in early June was VHNXI. That ferry flight took only a mere 40 total flight hours, landing in only 11 countries. However, the most recent and second 717 journey, and the subject of this video, was the flight of VHNXR. On July 12, 2023, VH-NXR left Canberra, Australia en route to the sunny California desert. Its first stop was at Alice Springs, Australia. From Alice Springs, it was off to Darwin. From Darwin, they stopped at Cebu in the Philippines. Now this next move confuses me, but if you know why they went north to Japan instead of flying straight to Taiwan, let me know down below. The next stop was Chubu, Japan, then they flew even further north to Chitose, Japan. Then from there it was off to Taipei, Taiwan. From Taipei, the next stop was Rayong, Thailand. From there to Nagpur, India. The next day it was from Nagpur, India to Muscat in Oman. Then Muscat, Oman to Hurghada, Egypt. From there they made their way to Sofia, Bulgaria, then to Stavanger, Norway. From Norway, they went up towards the top of the world at Reykjavik, Iceland, then to Goose Bay in Canada. From Goose Bay, they made their way to International Falls in the state of Minnesota in the U.S. And finally, on 15 August 2023, VH-NXR ended up at its destination, the airplane Boneyard in the U.S. desert in Victorville, California. In total, they flew about 19,000 nautical miles over 16 flights in 34 days. But as I mentioned earlier, as the crow flies, as the saying goes, it's only 6,688 nautical miles from Canberra to Victorville, California. I couldn't find any information on if or how many times they changed pilots or added extra fuel. So if any of you have that information, I'd love to read it down below. Wow. Well, talk about what a long, strange trip it's been for the little baby Boeing 717. But this story got me thinking. Instead of going through all that trouble to get a plane from point A to point B, I thought why not just put it on a cargo ship instead? Well, then I did the math. And considering I'm just ballparking it here, and trust me, I've never been accused of being good at math. But the average shipping container is about 20 feet long and 8 feet wide, stacked 9 high. And if we use the cost here from the Google of $5,400 Australian per container, then take the dimensions of a Boeing 717 with its wingspan of over 93 feet and 124 feet long and 30 feet high, the cargo company would have to give up the space of more than 70 containers times 9 because they stacked them 9 high. And we'll use the $5,400 Australian per container times, about 630 containers. You're looking at a shipping value of nearly $3.5 million in lost revenue to the shipping company, or a $3.5 million cost Qantas would have to pay to ship it. So even with today's gas prices, the total ferry flying cost probably only amounted to a fraction of that. Man, I hope I got that math right. I used a calculator, my fingers, and even a few toes to figure that out. But it doesn't really matter if my math was off, because the bottom line is it's just the cheapest way to basically throw an old airplane away in the California desert. Oh, and hey, if there's another reason they don't ship aircraft on cargo ships, then let me know down below. Because you don't need a mathematics degree to get a YouTube channel. They let just any clown have one. I'm certainly proof of that. However, that, my friends, is the story of how one Qantas flight took 34 days, 16 flights, and 13 countries. Well, that's going to wrap it up for now. And as always, thanks for stopping by. And if you think I deserved it, please subscribe. And don't forget to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. And of course, on your way out, remember, leave the rubber on the runway and your troubles on the ground. And I will see you next time. In the air. Yeah, this is Maximus.